Many people consider George R.R. Martin's third book, A Storm of Swords, to be the best of the 5 so far. That's debatable, but I'd agree that the book is phenomenal. There are 13 Arya chapters in this book, starting with their journey with the boys after escaping Harrenhal, then getting caught by the Brotherhood without banners, then traveling with Sandor, and ending with her boarding a ship for Braavos, Valar Morghulis. So in this video, we're going to go over 6 topics from the first 8 Arya chapters in this book. There's a lot of great stuff here related to fire magic and the old gods. Number 1. The Ghost of Highheart and Greendreams. So Arya and the Brotherhood head to a place called Highheart, which is on a very high hill. So high that it's above the clouds at times, but not above the wind, which I believe is one of the songs of earth or the voices of the dead. We'll get back to this later, but first, let's talk about the Ghost of Highheart. She's a little old lady, around 3 feet tall, and since she always has Thomas VII sing her the same song, Jenny's song, she's most likely a survivor of the tragedy of Summerhall. The tragedy of Summerhall deserves a video of its own, but in short, it was a huge and mysterious tragedy. Dunk and Egg both died at Summerhall. Egg, or Aegon V, was king at the time. There are a lot of rumors as to what happened. Many of them point to sorcery, pyromancers, wildfire, and an attempt to hatch a dragon egg. What's pretty interesting is that Rhaegar Targaryen was born at Summerhall on the day of the tragedy, and he was one of the few people to survive. Another person who survived the tragedy of Summerhall was this little old woods witch, the Ghost of Highheart. She's awesome, but her location is also awesome. So as we already said, Highheart is at the top of a very tall hill, and at the top there's a circle of 31 weirwood stumps. The place is rumored to be haunted by ghosts of the children of the forest who died there when an Andal king cut down the weirwood grove. And the Ghost of Highheart claims that fire magic will not work there, since the old gods don't like fire magic. Thoros seems to confirm this, since he's not able to see visions in the fire when he is there. But the Ghost of Highheart has plenty of visions herself, which probably stem from those weirwood stumps, and the residual souls of children of the forest that died there. The Ghost of Highheart foresees many things: the deaths of Renly Baratheon and Balon Greyjoy, the Red Wedding, Arya becoming a faceless woman, Lady Stoneheart, and Sansa unknowingly carrying the poison that would be used to murder Joffrey at his wedding feast. She also foresees Sansa slaying a giant in a castle of snow. That hasn't happened yet, so let's keep our eyes out for that. And keep in mind, it does not have to be a real giant. Maester Aemon referred to Tyrion as a giant, and Littlefinger is certainly a giant in terms of the Game of Thrones. Moreover, the Baelish family sigil, before Littlefinger created his own, had the Titan of Braavos on it. But as Archmaester Marwyn the Mage said to Sam in A Feast for Crows Sam 5, prophecy will bite your prick off every time. Excuse the vulgarity, but the point is, prophecies can be misleading. Let's not be surprised if Arya uses Sansa's face to get close to and kill Littlefinger. And some of you are probably wondering, wouldn't Sansa have to be dead in order for Arya to use her face? Not necessarily. At least in the show, Jaqen used Arya's face at one point, and Arya's not dead. Well, she's half dead inside, but she's never experienced the true death, as Varamir Sixskins would call it. Number 2. Foreshadowing. Arya tells the Brotherhood that her, Gendry, and Hot Pie are nobody's men, foreshadowing her time with the Faceless Men, training to become no one. And on top of that, Arya has a dream where she is walking to Winterfell, but she's in deep mud. Every step becomes harder and harder, which may foreshadow Arya struggling with an identity crisis after becoming no one. Number 3. Fire magic. We learn that Thoros has had visions ever since he was a kid, but he claims that powers long asleep are waking, implying that magic is strengthening, and we see that. He's much more powerful now. He has raised Beric already 6 times, but we learn that it comes at a cost. Thoros fears that the 7th time would be the last for both him and Beric. Beric is now a fire wight, and sets his sword on fire with his own magical blood. He does not eat, he does not sleep, and every time he is raised he has less and less Beric. His memories are fading. Beric is referred to as a ghost, and Lem Lemoncoke refers to Thoros as a healer, both of which are very important takeaways I'm going to expand on in a Magic and Maester conspiracy video that I'm almost done with. In addition, Beric points out that fire consumes until nothing is left. That's in stark contrast to the way that many people often refer to fire as a good thing, as a sign of life. I'll be expanding on this in a future video as well. Number 4. The Old Gods and the Song of Earth. Skipping ahead to A Dance with Dragons, we learn that the children of the forest, otherwise known as the Singers, spoke a language that no man could speak. Bloodraven tells Bran that you can't change the past, the ink is dry. If you try to speak to someone from within a vision, that person would hear a whisper of wind, a rustling amongst leaves. so I find it very interesting that it is so windy up on top this hill at Highheart, the place where 31 weirwood trees were cut down by the Andals, the place where the ghost of Highheart has her Greendreams, the place where Thoros of Mir's fire magic has no power, the place where the old gods seem to be very powerful. I have a strong suspicion that the wind is actually the voices of the fallen children, the true language as they call it, the Song of Earth. And here's a little nod to that. The wind blows a coverlet off of Arya, and when she runs over to the bushes to go get it, she hears voices. She hears voices of people, but I'm pretty sure that George was giving a nod to the fact that the wind is actually the voices of the dead singers, the old gods. Another interesting play on words comes from the mouth of our boy Sandor when he's in the Brotherhood's cave. He refers to the realms as rocks, trees, and rivers, which is totally something that Bloodraven or the Children of the Forest would say, since they believe that your spirit is absorbed into nature after you die. But it makes me wonder if I've been misinterpreting part of the Night's Watch vow in regards to guarding the realms of men. Sandor then asks, quote, "Do the rocks need defending?" Well, if the rocks store the afterlives of people, then yes, just like weirwood trees, they deserve protection. Number 5. Arya notices that Gendry looks like King Robert Baratheon, and more importantly, Arya and Gendry start forming a relationship that goes beyond just friendship. At one point, after they're flirting a little bit, they walk into a hall where Thomas Evans is singing a song that hopefully foreshadows these two reuniting and finding true love, since they are just kids in this chapter, especially Arya. She's only 10 at this point. But the song's very fitting. Besides addressing two lovebirds, the girl in the song is described as a maiden of the tree, as opposed to a lady of the courts, very fitting for Arya. And last but not least, numero 6, we learn that Arya is a warg, because at night she wargs into Nymeria from within her dreams. Before the Brotherhood Without Banners catches them, Arya, Gendry, and Hotpie are being chased by some men after they escape Harrenhal. But Arya wargs her wolf pack one night from within a dream and kills all those dudes. Valar Morghulis. Volar Dohaeris.